Good morning, guys. It is June 23rd, 2022. In this video here, I want to talk about some things that just have been on my mind as far as vacuum cleaners go. I see a whole lot of people nowadays saying, well, it just has to be modern. A vacuum cleaner has to be up to date. It has to have new technology. It has to have all this stuff. And one thing that really annoys me, and I'm not just talking about like new Walmart machines. I'm talking about like really high-end fancy machines like Ricars and Milas and stuff. And I have nothing against those machines. However, there are some things that I think about because here's what I think. I mean, I see these technicians out there, and some of them are decent, but some of them are just full of themselves, and they don't realize just how nice it is to keep things simple, to be able to fix. And I will say that by far the old style simple director vacuum cleaners like Kirby's, Sanitaires, Oryx, those machines, by far these are the most simple that you can get. And then you have these people that are like, well, they just don't perform as well. Really? So you're telling me that the fan directly by the floor is not going to do anything? Yeah, well, that's a bunch of baloney, because if the fan is all the way in the back and it's having to pull everything, I want you to think about this. Do you think it's easier to push a door open or pull a door open? Or push a piece of furniture across the room or pull a piece of furniture across the room? Push is always more efficient. It's faster. That's what these director designs do. Pulls it in, and then the fan just pushes it right into the back. Push. And it shoots dirt, dust, debris in like bullets. Just like boom, 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 boom. Right in. That is arguably one of the most efficient methods of doing it. And I'm just talking about carpet cleaning. If you have all hard floors, then this may not really matter too much, because when it comes to hard floors, you're not too worried about like so much power and vibrations and stuff to get stuff dislodged, because hard floor surfaces, it's just on the surface. You don't really need something like beating on the floor to get it out and stuff. But yeah. But also the thing I want to talk about is, I think the consumer needs to be able to repair their own machine if they want. Because we are living in a culture right now where everything has become so disposable. Everything has become so, complicated, to where, people are now opting just to replace things instead of fixing them and keeping them going. And you hear about all these people up in arms saying, oh, well, we need to protect the environment, protect the environment, protect the environment. Well, how are we protecting the environment if we don't have things that are easily fixable and designed to last? You know, and yes, budget machines, you can make them last and everything. I've spoken on that multiple times. I am not in any way, shape, or form against lower end, lower cost machines and some newer designs. However, there are some Ricars and these Tandem air machines that are out there. I'm sure they do perform very well. However, you're paying about $1,000, which is about as much as a Kirby would be, and they're probably just as heavy and stuff. So my thing is, they're more complicated to repair than a Kirby. You've got two motors, you've got all these circuit boards, all these things in there, all these different systems, all these different things, and my only thing is, when it breaks and when things go wrong, sure, it may be fixable, but it's not as simple as just opening up one of these and just doing a repair. And I hear a lot of people say, well, the rubber stretch belt is just crap, and it just stretches out a long time. Okay, one thing I will say is, yes, rubber stretch belts have their lifespan, but I will say, this is my own personal experience, because I've had Kirby's in my house consistently for almost 5 years now. I do not have to change belts that often. Some people say, well, you have to change the belt every 6 months, every this, every that. Okay, the Kirby belts, yes, they probably do stretch, but I don't notice any issues whatsoever. And especially with the performance indicator light, I can go about a year, maybe a year and a half. Now, granted, I don't use my Kirby's exclusively and just, use them as my only machine. So I can kind of understand, compared to somebody where this would be their only machine. But a belt will last a very long time on a Kirby. I have never seen a Kirby belt actually break or anything like that. Of course, if you stick with the genuine belts, I do not advocate getting aftermarket generic replacement parts for your Kirby's. It just, to me, for what they are, it doesn't make any sense to me. And the genuine stuff is really not all that expensive. The genuine stuff is all over the place. Just get the factory certified genuine parts. So yeah, that's one thing that I just noticed, because I hear a lot of people say, well, a Kirby just doesn't have the airflow, and it's just not modern, and it's just not this, and it's just not that. If it has served you well and you like the Kirby and it's giving you no problems and it cleans your carpet well as long as you change the roller brush every 10 to 15 years or whatever, because those do wear out. You know, the bristles do kind of shorten and get worn down pretty good after a while. I do not think you're going to have any issues. It's the same thing with the sanitaires. I do not think you're going to have any issues. And I think in this culture right now, we have become so obsessed with everything being new technology to where we're not even willing to look at the pros and cons between the two. And I understand there are pros and cons to these too. But I'm just talking from the repair aspect. You know, if you can physically handle using these machines, and trust me, I know some people who can't. I understand that. You know, I'm never going to tell somebody who I know their weight limit is like 10 or 15 pounds to lift. You know, so I completely understand, and I understand that there's certain preferences, there are certain needs. If you have a smaller home, if you have an apartment, if you have something, I do think that going smaller and, you know, more all in one is a better option. If you're getting older, if you, again, have a smaller home, I think that is a good option. However, like I said, I look at the whole scale when I'm looking at vacuum cleaners. I'm not just looking at, you know, performance and then, you know, the customer can't do anything to maintain and repair their own machine. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry, but I think if the customer can't get into their own machine to do a repair, that is just crap. It's just garbage, because it's inconvenient for them because they can't just get into it and do a simple repair and change a belt or change a roller or whatever and then get right back up and running. I mean, that's just dumb. It's just completely stupid, in my opinion. You know, it needs to be simple enough to where the customer can actually get in there, do what they need to do to get it going again. I mean, I'm not even talking about, like, you know, the customer needs to be able to get into the motor and all that stuff. I'm just talking about just basic maintenance. If a hose rips, if a roller wears out, if, you know, the belt breaks, if something happens that's simple, they need to be able to find the parts, get them, and get it fixed as easily as possible. You know, you hear the old saying, like I said, keep it simple. Keep it simple. you know, because I'm telling you, if you're selling vacuum cleaners and everything, and you're just like, oh, well, I am the only one that can do repair on it, or I do not like that. I do not appreciate that. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And who has the money to just go and pay somebody to fix their machine when it's broken all the time? I mean, really. I mean, there's just simple things that I think people need to be able to do themselves. And, I'm not saying you have to know how to do stuff. I'm not saying that, if you're just an average consumer, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, I just have certain things that, for me, it's just gotta be simple. And these two machines right here, parts are everywhere for them. Auric vacuum cleaners, parts are everywhere for them. All three of these, the Auric, the Kirby, and the Sanitaire, all three of these will last you for decades. Decades. They will last you potentially for the rest of your life. Between these three, whichever one you choose, they may very well be the last vacuum cleaner you will ever have to buy, because parts are everywhere for them. Parts are all over the place. They're widely available. They're easy to fix. Parts are cheap to get. They're easy. They're simple. I mean, it's not rocket science. This is one area that I'm just so passionate about. And, I've had some people say, well, you just don't like modern, and you just don't like this, and you're just an old soul. I never said I was against all newer designs. I'm just against complication, and I'm against it being harder to fix for the customer and harder to get parts for. Because I'm telling you, when your vacuum cleaner goes down and you can't fix it, it sucks. Big time. It's very frustrating, and especially when you can't get the parts very easily. It's very frustrating. So, again, these are just some examples. I'm not saying that these are the only options and stuff. I think, even some Walmart vacuums, you can actually, some of the Bissels and some of the Hoovers, parts are fairly common and they're easy to fix. That's why I recommend those. Again, some of them are too complicated. Some of them are not what I would consider to be simple. But that's not all of them. Again, the way I see it is, the simpler you can keep it, the easier it's going to be to repair, and the more cost effective it is going to be to repair. And I don't care if your vacuum cleaner costs $50 or if it costs $2,000 like these. You can get a long life out of any vacuum cleaner. they all eventually break. They all eventually, you know, have problems, but making sure that you can actually fix them is important. It's very important because, you don't want to be worried about, you know, things breaking and then you having to run out and buy another machine, because honestly, even if you have to buy bags for vacuum cleaners, you know, a bag should last no less than a month, but in my house they last several months. A package of bags for me, if you get a pack of say 3 to 6 bags, that pack of bags should be a year's supply for you. And usually it's anywhere from $7 for the cheap pack to $15 for the higher quality bags, for most machines. And, you're not really saving too much money with bagless vacuum cleaners. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, if you want a bagless vacuum cleaner and that's what you prefer, there's nothing wrong with it. But just in my experience from my research and my experience using both, because I have used both, I will say that bagged is honestly a lot more efficient. It's a lot easier to deal with, and cost-wise, it just makes more sense because you don't have to think about filters too much. You don't have to think about cleaning stuff out too much. You just change the bag, you throw it away, you put a new bag in, and you're done. And, with my Kirby's, I can get 6 months out of a bag. Seriously. And the bags come in a 6-pack, so I would say I'd probably have a 3-year supply of bags for my Kirby's. I mean, it's insane. And, the 6-pack of bags is only $15. And then the belts are $3 for a 3-pack or something like that. And like I said, the belts just last for a long time. I mean, the belts outlast the bags. So it just depends. But this is just a way to kind of save money and just, like I said, keep it simple. And this goes for, the cheaper vacuum cleaners as well. It's not, you don't have to buy an expensive vacuum cleaner or a high-end vacuum cleaner to get a long life out of them. I do recommend that if you can, because I think just long term, it's gonna withstand a lot of abuse. I mean, Kirby's, Seabo's, Sanitaires, some of the basic regars, I mean, they're all built like tanks. I mean, they can literally just be beaten, put through the ringer, and 99% of the time they survive very high demanding environments. So, but yes. So, anyway, that's just something I wanted to talk about and clear up, because, again, I've heard so many people, especially in the repair field, say, well, I'm the only one that can fix it. Well, you're just kind of dumb if you say that, because you've got to understand not everybody has the money to have somebody fix their machine, and you should be able to fix your vacuum cleaner if you want to yourself. I have never, ever taken a vacuum cleaner to a repair shop. Ever. Of course, I do a lot of research and I love repairing them, but I never once have ever taken a vacuum cleaner to a repair shop for them to do it for me. Because I don't want to. I enjoy doing it myself. And if a machine is not going to allow me to do it myself, I will not buy it. I will not have it in my house. It doesn't belong in my collection. Period. So, anyway, sorry I'm just rambling, but please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.